Hey there, it's Lemmy back with another juicy video. Check out my Twitter and LemmeCraft.
Today's video is on 10 ways to improve your art. The list is not in any particular order. 10. Use packs. So by simply searching graphics pack or stock pack or overlay pack or layer style pack or color correction pack, or just simply searching Photoshop pack, you will find multiple pages of packs that you can use on your art. If you would like a tutorial on how to use these packs, make sure to let me know in the comment section. 9. Blending modes. If you don't know what blending modes are, the best way I can explain it is by its name. It has multiple different modes you can choose for a layer. If you don't know what it is, I'm sure you've seen it above the layers. It can be interesting to experiment with, especially when a photo or texture is over another. When you're on a layer, you'll see something saying normal above it with little arrows. Once you click normal, you'll get a list of options. I usually double click it and then scroll with the arrows so I can see what different options look like, and then pick my favorite. It is also often used to remove a background in graphics packs. 8. 3D option. If your Photoshop does have the 3D option, you can use it to make layers 3D. Here are some projects that can be made using the 3D tab. You can also add a nice shadow using the 3D option to make your work look more real. So when you go into the 3D area on Photoshop, you'll be brought into a completely different area, so you can edit the angle, length, and more. If you are trying to make simple stuff with it, I recommend doing something like putting text on a floor using its shadows to make it look more real. 7. Character spacing. In Photoshop, there are multiple windows you can add depending on what you are doing or what you prefer. In the window tab, there is something called character. Once you click it, it will bring up something like this. The main two things I use it for is space between lines. For example, you're writing a paragraph and the default space between lines is too big or too small. This is when you change it. I also use it to change the space between characters. For example, you have two lines that you want to be the same length. Instead of changing the size and having to stretch it, you can change the spacing between characters, meaning that now it doesn't look stretched and unprofessional. It's often also used to make things like thumbnails. 6. Blending options. If you right click your layer, one of the options will be blending options. Once you click blending options, a new tab with the title layer style will open. In here you can add so much to your layer. What you do in this tab is called creating a layer style. It's pretty much adding effects to your layer. Layer styles are copyable by right clicking and clicking copy layer style, and pastable by right clicking and clicking paste layer style. This is useful if you have two texts and you want them to have the same layer style. You can find layer style packs online that you can use on your layers. These layer styles will be layer styles that may have taken a lot longer to make and a lot more experience, so these packs will be really useful on your layers. 5. Add highlights. Adding highlights in Photoshop is simply adding light to a certain area, like making the sun more lit up. When you add highlights, it's done by picking a color, setting your brush to 0 hardness. Usually people get the brush, make it really big and zoom out, and put most of it out of the Photoshop editable area and then click, making it more light. After you click the brush where you want the light, you usually play around with the opacity of it and sometimes the blending modes. It's also sometimes used when trying to make a Minecraft sword or something glow. You can also use it to make text glow or just add a shadow on the text if you don't want to use the blending options tab. 4. Filter tab. Using the options in the filter tab can add professional details to your work. There are 10 main categories in the filter tab, each having a few options in them that can add very useful detail. You can add multiple types of blurs which can be used to make text glow. For example, quick glow tutorial. So how I make the text glow is first I duplicate it so I have a layer to blur, which will be the glow, and I used a Gaussian or Gaussian blur to do this. I'm not sure how to say it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. Another thing you can do with the blurs is make it look like a car is moving. Quick moving car tutorial. So to make it look like the car is moving, I duplicate the layer of the car and then put the motion blur on it. There are also many other useful blurs in the blur category. These are just a few. There are also other categories like the Zort, which can add many things like ripple, pinch, wave, and more. The filter tab has so many options that will take really long to research every single one and learn. So I recommend you just experiment with the options and see what ones you like, and you can learn to use them by doing that. Image tab. The image tab has a lot of different options to help you change the way your image looks. The adjustment category of it can be very useful to change the way your image looks. And the color. You can change a mostly red wallpaper to a mostly blue wallpaper or any other color using the hue/saturation option in the adjustment section, as well as make it black and white. The color balance option can change the color of your layer when the hue/saturation option can't because it's too dark. You can use the actual image category to rotate your image as well as a lot of other things. I recommend you just play around with the image tab in your spare time because there are so many options. 2. Adjust hardness. When drawing or rubbing something out or using a tool, you can adjust the hardness on it. It can come in really handy to adjust the hardness. Some people that are new to Photoshop may not know that you can adjust the hardness, but you can get into the options of the brush by either right clicking in the Photoshop editable area or going to the top left corner and adjusting the hardness. Adjusting the hardness can be useful in highlighting, like we talked about before. When rubbing out something, you don't want a random circle, which is from the rubber, to be left. When you turn down the hardness, one of the things you can do is make a nice border around the edges. If you want, you can then play around with the opacity and turn it down. Turning down the hardness can also be very useful when trying to remove something from the face like an eyebrow. Turning down that hardness can be very helpful when trying to blend colors together. For example, here I removed someone's eyebrow with 0 hardness on my brush to help. 1. Add brushes. Adding brushes in Photoshop is something that not everyone knows how to do or knows that exists, but can be very useful. If you want, you can find any picture online and make it into a brush, and click anywhere you want instead of having to get the picture and duplicate it and have heaps of layers. But you can also find brushes that you can download for free that people actually made for others to use. I've seen really cool brushes that you can use before, like over here or fires or anything really. Like if you're trying to make a person in Photoshop, you can get here and that will help you make like a personal avatar. You can also use brushes to add better detail or just add detail in your photos, because normal brushes that usually come with Photoshop are like round or aren't meant to add detail. You can find a lot of brushes on places like YouTube or just searching on Google, but to install it from an ABR file type, which is what you download the brushes as, you go into program files in Adobe, then Adobe Photoshop, then Presents, and then brushes. This is where all the brushes will be. You'll see a bunch of brushes and just drag what you downloaded in and press continue. Then go into Photoshop and go into where you change the hardness of the brush, which is like the setting of the brush or whatever, and press the little setting with the down arrow and press assorted brushes, then OK. Or instead you can click the setting of the down arrow and click load brushes and find it that way. Now I'll show you how to turn an image into a brush. So you need to be on the layer or image you want to turn into a brush, and then press edit and then press define brush present, then OK, and then you're done. You can do things like get a horse and make it into a brush and then put it on grass or something and it will look really cool. You can even get a picture of yourself and just put that wherever instead of having to duplicate a picture of yourself multiple times. To find brushes that are ABR file type to put into Photoshop, you can search specifics like Photoshop Spider Brush Pack, or you can just search Photoshop Brush Pack and look through Google and YouTube, and I'm sure you'll find some that you like. Hey guys, now that we've come to the end of the video, I'd like to thank you for watching the video, And if it did help you or you did enjoy it at all, it would really help me out if you did like the video or leave a rating or any feedback. And subscribe to the channel for any future commentaries or tutorials similar to this one. My 2 recent videos will be on screen right now if you want to check those out.